So someone sent me a clip of Melania Trump talking about cyberbullying and how she becomes first lady. She has plans on stopping that, on doing something about the dangers of mean words on the interwebs. So I'm just going to let you guys see the clip that was sent to me, and then we're going to come back and chat about it briefly.
Social media is a centerpiece of our lives. It can be a useful tool for connection and communication. It can ease the isolation that so many people feel in the modern world. Technology has changed our universe. But like anything that is powerful, it can have a bad side. We have seen this already. As adults, many of us are able to handle mean words, even lies. Children and teenagers can be fragile. They are hurt when they are made fun of or made to feel less in looks or intelligence. This makes their life hard and can force them to hide and retreat. Our culture has gotten too mean and too rough, especially to children and teenagers. It is never okay. A 12-year-old girl or boy is mocked, bullied, or attacked. It is terrible when that happens on the playground, and it is absolutely unacceptable when it's done by someone with no name hiding on the internet. We have to find a better way to talk to each other, to disagree with each other, to respect each other. We must find better ways to honor and support the basic goodness of our children, especially in social media. It will be one of the main focuses of my work if I'm privileged enough to become your First Lady.
You know, here's the thing. I think that bullies are the unsung heroes of the world. No, truly I do, Or more accurately, they're more the unsung villains, but heroes more now that I see because of what I'm about to say. And that is, bullies are a constant reminder that the world is not a nice, soft, flowery place. They're a reminder that the world sucks sometimes. And honestly, I find it very strange how people always want to take the path of least resistance, the path of abject weakness, of trying to avoid these mean words instead of obtaining the strength and mental fortitude to deal with them. And see, this is why I call bullies the unsung heroes of the world, because they teach people, if you have enough, self-reflection, knowledge, and even love in your life, they teach people how not to be bothered by, one, different opinions, and two, people who say mean things to you. I mean, could you imagine that the men who stormed, Normandy Beach, in World War II, if they were dissuaded by mean words, those 18-year-olds, go 20, obviously 28-year-old men going to go fight in a war. Could you imagine what would happen if they were just brought to tears from mean words? They wouldn't be able to do the great things that they did, Now that's just obviously a more serious and extreme example. I mean, we can bring that shit all the way back down to the normal, average, everyday example. Take me, for instance, right? Throughout high school, I was bullied a lot. In middle school, same way. Elementary school, all throughout my life, actually, all throughout my time in schooling up until the 11th and 12th grade, I got a bunch of shit from people, right? So most of my career in high school, I mean, yeah, like just in school, I got a bunch of shit from people. And of course, then, obviously it hurt then. Obviously it caused lots of mental problems then. But how I am now is that fucking mean words on the internet don't bother me. Because I went through the fire, the hotness of bullshit from people when I was younger, it strengthened my mind. So now that I'm older, when people say shit to me on the internet, it doesn't bother me. Now when people have opinions that I don't agree with, it doesn't really hurt me or bother me, because I dealt with that shit as a kid. I got through that shit as a kid. And there were times when life was hard, but because I had love, I had friends, I had people who cared about me, parents in my life, I was able to get through it. And that's what these kids need. These kids don't need an initiative to stop the whole of the world from being mean to them. They need parents and friends in their lives to tell them it's going to be alright, it's okay, you're going to deal with this shit. But once you push through, you're going to have the strength to not have that bother you anymore. And now the thing that I find interesting about this shit is the fact that it is a constant truth, just to the grand scheme of reality, that strife and pain actually breeds strength. That hardship makes most, if not any, living organism stronger. Obviously, not extremities. I mean, for example, if you drop someone in lava, well, that's their ass, okay? You know, if you shoot someone in the face with a gun, that's their ass. Obviously, you can't handle extremes. However, you know, if you take a hot bath, you know, it's gonna hurt at first, but if you constantly do it, guess what? Your skin and your body regulates the heat, and now you can, you know, dip into a hot bath. It's a lot easier. It's not going to be as hot. It's not going to burn your skin like it would have before. And that's what happens. Your body adapts to strife. It adapts to hardship. And that's what it's supposed to do. Same thing, you know, with colder temperatures or anything like that. And I mean, I can go constantly on how, let's talk about your muscles. You know, exercising is the same exact principle. You exercise and it's painful. It hurts when you exercise. You know, it's very seldomly feels good. You know, when you're gasping for breath and when your heart's thumping all the time and when your biceps feel shredded. But guess what? After you heal, you know, after you drink the protein shake, after you rest, sleep, your body heals. You're going to be sore for a little bit. It's going to hurt. But once that soreness is gone, you're going to be stronger than what you were before. Again, a constant truth to reality. Again, our bodies, we could keep going. Look at your immune system. Your immune system operates the same way. You get sick, your immune system deals with the problem. It creates antibodies. It kills the virus or the bacteria or whatever was inside of you. And then you move on. And then, the next time that virus gets into you, your body already has the antibodies and it's gone. They can kill it. Everything in life is constant. Just our human bodies works that way. And yet, for some reason, I see a lot of adults, you know, honestly, and I'm sorry to say this. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying this to be accurate. It is usually women who are doing this. It's usually women that are complaining about how mean words suck and how we should do something about mean words. But honestly, I have to say this, ladies and even the smaller children. Again, as I said in the last 30 seconds or to a minute, our bodies are designed to adapt to problems. They're designed to deal with strife. Obviously, extreme cases is too much for us. Once again, like if you get cancer, you know, your body's not going to be able to handle that all on its own. Yes, extreme cases exist. I'm not saying that, you know, if you're getting a tidal wave of a bunch of bullshit when you're a little kid, that it's never gonna bother you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying if the whole of the fucking world is against you, I'm not saying that that's okay and that's fine. What I am saying is that when it's on the internet, if you're only dealing with shit on the internet, you've got a pretty fucking smooth and easy life. If the worst of the bullying you have to experience is people saying words on the screen, well, guess what? You don't have to read them. I'll give you another example. Again, another surface level base example of the everyman, like me myself, right? About a year ago, I made a video response to Lacey Green, and someone put it on Reddit, right? And I went on to the Reddit page where the person posted up there. And what I saw was just a tidal wave of a bunch of insults directed at both me and Lacey. These people, they didn't give a fuck. They were getting on everybody, me and her, right? So after reading a couple of these mean comments, do you know what I did? I just left the fucking webpage. It was that simple. I didn't say anything to these people. I didn't argue with them. I didn't get upset. I read them. I said, that's kind of shitty. And then I went on with the rest of my day. You don't have to read mean comments, you know? And if someone is regularly sending you mean shit, or if you start reading the first couple of lines or sentences and it just sounds like some bullshit, you don't have to read it. And if you don't read it, it can't hurt you. You know, it's not like bullying that happens in reality. The bullying I had to deal with was on the bus. It was in class. It was in the cafeteria. It was on my own lacrosse team. I couldn't escape this shit. You know, I wish the bullying I had to go through in life was on my fucking cell phone, right? Because you know what I would do? I would just do this. You see? Look at this shit. Look. See, it's on? There. Done. You can do that. I wish I could have done that. I wish the extent of the shit I had to go through in life was just, you know, I just turn it off. Stop reading it. But I didn't have that luxury. I mean, hell, when I was growing up, I had a bunch of people, you know, punching me, you know, kicking me. I actually had to fight a couple of people growing up. And I remember one time when I was 5 years old, man, it was the first time I ever got my ass whooped. It was crazy. It was the worst fucking thing ever that happened to me as a kid. But now guess what? Because, you know, as a child, I dealt with that stress then. Now hand-to-hand combat, you know, isn't as tough or isn't as horrible to me. Now I know martial arts and whatnot, but the point that I'm making is the hardships as a child prepared me for situations I had to deal with later as an adult. And that's what you have to do. You have to deal with these problems. You have to deal with strife. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. And I honestly think that this is a gigantic problem I see with a lot of young ladies, which is why I think they get really stagnated and why mean words hurt them so much, you know. I see a lot of the times the word slut and whore and just, you know, just mean fucking words on the internet, just, I can summarize it like that, are just real hardships for women, just really tough for them. And I think it's because they've never really had to deal with getting punched in the face. I mean, like, if you got punched in the face, it creates, actually, here's another thing, still on topic, actually. Your nervous system can actually adapt to stress, you know, and it can actually create a stress threshold, right? So that means whenever you hit any other situation that causes you stress, you'll be able to deal with it better. You'll be able to regulate your body a lot better because your nervous system's already dealt with it. Like, for example, just random, let's say you're walking, you know, down the street and you see a fucking mountain lion jump out at you, right? You know, and so when you see that, you know, the fear in your body, you know, stresses and you run away. And let's say fucking animal control was down the street, they caught it, right? So you didn't get hurt. But because your body went through that huge amount of stress, now when you have a test, you'll be like, well, it's not a fucking mountain lion, and your body will be able to regulate it a lot better. But if the only stress you've ever dealt with is just, oh no, I have this really, really hard test I have to deal with, it's going to seem a lot worse than what it is because your body's never had to deal with anything worse than that. Again, I can take it all the way back to the fucking exercising analogy, not even analogy, just reality. If you never exercise a day in your life and you're really skinny or wimpy, 5 pounds is going to feel pretty heavy. So that's why you got to work on 3 pounds and then move up to 5 pounds, and you move up to 10 pounds, you move up to 15, blah, 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 blah. You know, your body has to grow. Small things are going to feel really, really, really heavy. They're going to feel really bad because you've never had to deal with that stress before. And I think that's what affects a lot of young ladies, you know, on the internet, even some young men. Although I see this usually with women, but I'll extend this to younger men too, and the smaller children. You know, when you're dealing with this type of shit on the internet, you know, I think for one thing, I think we're taking this shit for granted too, because again, like I said earlier, I had to deal with this shit in reality. I had to deal with real life people. I got jumped when I was in the fucking 4th grade. I got chased from the bus stop to my house by this one kid who wanted to beat me up. When I was in the 4th grade, I was like 9. You know, like, so again, because I felt that stress as a 9-year-old, you know, now as a 21-year-old adult, if someone calls me fucking ugly on the internet, well, yeah, nigga didn't put his hands on me, it doesn't hurt me. See, because so you have to deal with this shit in order to become strong enough, in order to learn to not let it bother you. And I think this initiative here from Melania Trump is the absolute worst thing ever, because it's going to put these kids in a mindset that their problems are always going to be solved by outside forces. It's going to put them in a mindset where they're never going to actually have to learn how to regulate their feelings and emotions and learn how to deal with the stress of people saying things to them, because it was always protected, or we always stopped it. You know, you have to deal with stress in order to get stronger. And that's the main message of today's video. You know, preventing people from dealing with challenges is not healthy for them. And again, I can sum it up one more time with a much simpler surface level example. Just the other day, I started playing League of Legends, right? And I was getting my ass whooped, right? So what did I have to do? So after getting my ass whooped many times and dying constantly, I had to learn. I had to stop and figure out, well, what am I doing wrong? You know, it's literally like, even in a video game, this is just the basis of video games, right? Facing challenges is what helps you get better. And I got better at playing League of Legends because I faced something challenging. Of course, it's only beginner shit. I mean, it'll get worse from here, but the point is, my foundation is better now because I kept dying. I don't want to fucking die anymore, so I figured out a better way to do it. I can take it another step further. I remember when a couple of years ago, I was taking an American history class, and we had to take quizzes after reading this one chapter in this thin book, and we had to take quizzes. and I was doing very poorly. I got D's and I got C's on there, and I wanted to do better. So because I kept failing at this quiz, I was like, well, what do I have to do to get better? What do I have to do that's wrong? And so what I started doing was I read each chapter twice, right? I would read it one time over, let it mull in my mind. It would come back another day, like the day after, maybe 2 days later, and read it again. And that way, the information was now more concrete in my mind. And literally, after I started doing that, my test scores shot up. I started getting A's and B's on those tests because I started reading the chapter twice. And I never would have thought about that, or never would have figured that out if I didn't fail at first, if I didn't face hardship, if I didn't face a challenge, I wouldn't have gotten better. So again, main message of today's video is this. You have to go through hardships in order to get stronger. And preventing people from going through hardships is not going to make people's lives easier. It's actually going to make it harder. It's going to make it harder in comparison, or harder in perspective, because they've never grown the strength of the foundations to deal with small things in the first place. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.